Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all, or not to see you all. I'm actually travelling, and I'm in a car at the moment, and I've been advised by my beautiful wife that it's possibly not the right thing for me to do to be looking at a screen and driving at the same time. So we're on a good 4G connection, but just wanted to say a quick, massive thank you to Sharon and Ian for inspiring and making this happen. It's a great initiative. We've been working towards the United Nations sustainability goals for some time at the Chamber, and this one is significant, and I think it's brilliant the way they've brought people together with a similar passion to do the right thing. So thank you everybody for coming, and I'll hand back to Saffron and Sharon and Ian.
Thanks, Chris.
I really just jumped on in case Chris was going to have some problems connecting. I know he broke up a little bit, but again, a massive thank you to Sharon and Feeding Our Future. These guys are going to tell you a little bit about what our plans are, a little bit about the Earthshot Prize, some urban orchards as well. And apologies for me for confusing anybody yesterday if I did accidentally change the date of the event and you all got an email and tried to join yesterday, but at least you got a bit of a sneak peek. So apologies for that. Welcome to everybody that's in the room. I'm not sure who's next. Sharon, Ian, I'm going to hand over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Saffron. Yes, it's all very exciting, and we've been working hard to put this together. So I think what we'll do without much ado is start the presentation, if that's okay. Is there anything you want to say, Ian, before we start? No? Okay. Right. So thank you very much for coming today. I think what's incredible for me is to know what a strong group we've managed to form here. And Feeding Our Future is an idea of ours. That we'd like to make Watford a waste-free town, and hopefully the presentation will become clear as we go along. I'm going to sound exactly like the COVID announcements because I'm not running the presentation, so Emma's going to get next slide, please, Emma. So thank you very much. Okay, so as I said, this is the Chamber of Commerce, Think About It Films and Verdi Business Solutions coming together to try and help make Watford a food waste-free town. So this is an invitation to you to help us do that. So hopefully some of our ideas are here, but we haven't formulated them all. So we really need your support and your ideas and your expertise as well to make this happen. Thank you. Next slide, please, Emma. Okay, so we all know it's a good idea to obviously have a waste-free town, a waste-free city, waste-free country, but it's always, sometimes it's not practical that things do happen that way. But here are some just few facts to be able to help us understand why we're doing this. So factually, at the moment, Watford households set out 4.7 kilograms of waste a week. And a quarter of Watford's total waste was usable food waste. And I think that's a really important thing, is to actually say it's usable food waste. And only 43% of households at the moment present their food waste bins for collection. And some of that, 25% of that food waste, was actually packaged and unopened. But the brilliant thing is, with the new brown systems, there's 31,000 brown bins now all over Watford, which is absolutely fantastic. And between September the 20th and March the 20th and September the 21st, over 1,024 tonnes of food waste was collected. So next slide, please, Emma. The sad thing is, if food waste was a country, it would be the third biggest emitter of greenhouse gases. I mean, that is phenomenal, isn't it? It's the third biggest emitter of greenhouse gases. And when you look at this, I think this chart, it just absolutely hits it home that it's bigger than India, you know, and slightly smaller than the USA. And that shocked us to the absolute core to know that that was that statistic. So I need to put my teeth in today. Thank you. Next slide, please, Emma. And 1.9 million people in the UK rely on food banks, but we continue to waste enough food that could actually feed 4.9 million people. So it absolutely makes sense. The less food that we waste, obviously, the more people we can feed for our future. So hence why feeding our future. Next slide, please, Emma. But the good news is it's being taken seriously. Okay, climate change is now the third most important issue after the economy and health. And feeding our future is Watford's way to help repair that planet. And the great thing is, if we measure what we do and measure what we're able to do, then it will be phenomenal to be able to put those stats into practice. Next slide, please, Emma. Next slide. So what is the Earthshot Prize? The Earthshot Prize is an Environmental Nobel £1 million prize, and it's led by Prince William and Sir David Attenborough. And Feeding Our Future has already been nominated through the first round. So we put an application in together to tell people what we're currently doing in Watford, and under the partner RAP. And they really liked what we're doing. So that's why we know what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve has really got legs. Hence why we're pulling this group together to try and have maximum impact. So winning an Earthshot would just really put this town on the map and the business on the map. But we have to have a contingency plan, because obviously it's a prize and they're going to be winners and there are going to be losers. So what we don't want is to put all this hard work to waste. So we want to make sure and ensure that we'll have a future whether we receive the Earthshot Prize or not. So next slide, please. Thank you. So what's our mission? Exactly what we've put here is to build a waste-free Watford. That's it. Our town's opportunity to help save the planet one step at a time. By working together, we will develop and implement smart, sustainable and cost-effective ideas designed with absolutely everybody in mind. If we all take responsibility collectively, we can really make a difference to our future. And it's that analogy, isn't it? One grain of sand or one bit of rice can tip the balance of those scales. And so together, multiply that. What a difference we can make. Thank you. Next slide, please, Emma. So why Watford? Well, apart from that we all love Watford, we think Watford's a marvellous town and it's got so much going for it. We are a microcosm. 100,000 people in 8 square miles. And I love that figure that it's 100,000 people because it makes the maths really easy. It's robust businesses. It's got voluntary and community networks. We are a town that actually communicates and talks with different departments and different sectors, which just makes it amazingly unique. We have a vibrant economy. And so, you know, real entrepreneurs out there. And that's why Watford is a great place to actually start this process. And of course, what we want to do is make sure that we get the model right, get it all happening, and then be able to replicate it through other towns and be able to scale up. Thank you, Emma. Next slide. Thank you. So what's already happening in Watford today? Oh, no, we're going backwards. That sounds great. That's it. Okay, so what's happening in Watford today? There's tons happening. And I'm only going to absolutely scratch the surface here of what is actually happening. So in West Herts College, they've developed this amazing cookbook. And they worked with Viola to be able to develop it. And it's a cookbook helping to be able to reduce leftovers and cook from your leftovers, which is brilliant. We've got the weekly food waste brown bin collection now. And as I said to you, that's 1,024 tons of waste were collected, but not everybody's doing it. So part of this project and part of the things that we want to discuss today is how can we engage more people in the community to take part in actually ensuring that their food waste goes into their brown bin. The other thing I noticed recently, that I found a stat that said if all the food waste is actually composted with oxygen and composted safely, that's absolutely brilliant. However, if it goes to landfill, it becomes methane, which is 27 times more damaging than CO2. So it shows that we mustn't have people throwing food waste into landfill, because it's going to have a real detrimental effect. So we've also got the Random Cafe doing absolutely some brilliant work. So let's just go to the next slide and see what they've been doing. So the Random Cafe are diverting food from landfill to bellies, and it's such an obvious thing to do. And they have done tremendous work. And even that they have stated in the last 6 months, they have collected over 50 tons of food waste, which is phenomenal. And it's being able to help feed the people that need it. So I'm going to bring in Chris now for him to tell you what, and hopefully we can bring him in safely because he's driving, what the Chamber's been up to and the whole reason why this Feeding Our Future has started. Oh, he's not driving anymore, so that's good. Over to you, Chris, to tell everybody what you've been doing.
Yeah, so over the last couple of years, we've put a few people together, and it was centered around the sort of COVID appeal at the hospital initially last February, where we approached a couple of local organisations, Warner Brothers, The Grove, Mr. Wenzel, to ask if they could help donate food so that we could set up the cafe for the NHS staff, because they were struggling with the space and being able to segregate and separate and so on. And so we quickly realised there was an awful lot of willing organisations to donate food, and that's like freshly cooked and prepared food. But quickly we came across the fact that there's an awful lot of organisations out there that had end-of-life food and stock. The biggest challenge we had to overcome was having somewhere to store it and having transport, which Watford Football Club were absolutely amazing and gave us the concourse in the Sir Graham Taylor stand. And so we had open-ended storage, which was just amazing. And then we opened the gates, literally the floodgates, to organisations that had literally pallets and pallets and pallets of end-of-life food. So we had 20 tons of food delivered to us by Nestlé, and it was not end of life, it was end of their sale life, basically, which was in a 6-month to shelf life. So they needed somewhere to get rid of it, effectively. And if they couldn't find anywhere, it would have gone to landfill. We then, through the Hertfordshire Agricultural Society, got introduced to a lot of farmers and producers, and they had the same sort of story, that there was lots and lots of produce that was going wanting because of, effectively, a lot of it was because of COVID and shops and cafes and things shutting down. But nevertheless, there was still an awful lot of produce out there. And so we quickly grew a network which was predominantly based on just WhatsApp groups and various different WhatsApp groups. And we partnered with a few amazing charities like Severday, and I believe Dina's on the call today, who was just absolutely amazing in what she does and the contacts that she's got as well. And so rather than us all, if you like, reach out to all of the supermarkets and the producers individually, we said, wouldn't it be better if we joined together and did it as one? And one particular lady who's the manager down at Costco said, I must get 50, 60 phone calls a week of people asking me to things. If you could coordinate it better, that would make us more efficient and make the distribution of the food more efficient. So that's where we came up with the idea of perhaps putting some technology together, and we've got the guys from Oya on the call today as well, because we were going to build our own technology that just made it more efficient and reduce the reliance on WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is all reliant on someone picking a message up and making something happen. So what we need is, where is the end-of-life food? Where can we store it? Who's got storage? Who can deliver it? And who needs it? And a bit of technology in the middle to organise that. Now, there are apps out there like Deliveroo, and we've already spoken, Sid and I spoke to Uber Eats. So we know the technology's out there. And then I met Nita from Oya, and they have got a platform that we believe will be just right for this. So what we're aiming to do is build a bit of technology that everyone in the town can use to either say, I need something, I've got space, I've got the ability to deliver, and also to expand that out to some of the big manufacturers, so that when we do get large chunks of produce, and trust me, it's out there. Just 2 months ago, we had 20,000 tins of Coca-Cola delivered from Gatwick Airport that was on its way to landfill. Its end of sale by date was end of June, but they just didn't have anywhere to put it, and they needed someone to take it away. We had 250,000 cups of hot chocolate, which we distributed to all of the care homes and food banks and so on. So we know the stuff's there. We just need to coordinate it. So effectively, when Ian and I and Sharon got together, we said, well, if we worked on food and end of life food and food waste to start with, that's probably the most difficult subject. Once we've done that, we can look at all of the other things that go to waste. And again, trust me, it's amazing. You'd be shocked and horrified at some of the stuff that happens. One great company in Watford, TJ Maxx, they have lots and lots of samples that get sent to them from all over the world, from lots of different companies. Last year with Homestart, we delivered, I think, 250,000 items to different households that, again, would have gone to landfill. So it's quite simple. We just need a logistics package that helps us identify who, when and why and what's needed. And then we need everyone to get on board and say, yes, let's all use this to help each other. And that was meant to be a minute long. Sorry, Sharon, I'm now finished.
No, don't worry. I think that's the most exciting part of the whole concept, is actually what's been happening and what we're hoping to try and achieve. So, but we don't have all the answers at this stage. So I think that's why we've brought this group together. And just to let you know that obviously the Chamber have saved over 60 tons of food. That's the equivalent of 6 African elephants. So it just shows you how much food has been diverted from landfill, just with these people running this on the ground with a WhatsApp, just running around like not headless chickens, because it's been very well coordinated.
No, headless chickens is good. That's good. I have been.
No, occasionally. But obviously this bit of tech will hopefully help us enormously to be able to make sure that it's sustainable and to be able to keep going. Thank you. Thanks, Chris. So next slide, please, Emma. So as I said, we're very, very privileged to have Olio on the line today. We have Nita and Shane, so hopefully people can speak to them later in some of the breakout groups. But there's tons of great things already happening out there. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We just want to work together with people. Okay, next slide, please, Emma.
Sorry, Sharon, just to confirm something. It's not Olio that Nita's with.
Okay.
Oya. It's another.
Oya.
It's another
Sorry,
organisation.
yes. Oya, yes.
Just wanted to clarify that. Sorry, Nita.
That's okay. Sorry, Nita. Yes. Oya. They are other organisations that are out there. So Feeding Our Future needs to build a platform app to help do exactly what Chris has said he's already been doing on the ground. We need to build those community and commercial relationships and raise awareness and make sure that we've got really good engagement programs. But what we want to do is walk before we run. So obviously, and whatever we do, the key thing is to actually measure it and analyse. And it's really important. And Watford Borough Council Ruth actually gave me a fantastic stat that from her 1,024 tonnes of food that they've actually had collected by the brown bins, 50% of it has gone for composting and 50% of it has actually been converted to energy, which is amazing. And we need to be aware of that, because I think the more that people become aware of the great things that are actually happening, it encourages people to actually continue. So next slide, please, Emma. Thank you. So I'm going to let Ian now talk about his ideas of urban orchards as part of this project.
Thank you, Sharon. So again, this is to pick up on what Sharon said about awareness. So we thought to ourselves, okay, Feeding Our Future is about food and how we respect food. And how do we actually keep communicating to people that particular subject? Yes, obviously there's great stuff going on with the app and technology, and we're all members of WhatsApp groups and social media. I'm a great Twitterist, for example. But we thought to ourselves, well, look, why don't we think also about using a different type of billboard, using fruit tree orchards, of which we already have one at Jane's Random Cafe, and we're delighted we've got our first urban orchard, but to use small urban orchards of fruit trees and fruit bushes in different parts of the town, maybe on wasteland, whatever, in Casbury Park. Even I was talking to in Stotsbury, and he probably doesn't remember this, but we were talking even about putting an urban orchard right in the middle of the high street. To remind people that this is about food. This is how food is grown and how food is used, and its importance to us as human beings. Each little orchard, proper little identity with a proper little information plaque that talks about food waste, encouraging local people, maybe businesses, schools, neighbourhoods to actually sponsor their own individual orchards throughout Watford. So under the brand Urban Orchards, beautifully designed by Catherine Baldwin, who I think is with us today, to really use those to reinforce and to really get awareness of the issue of food waste and the environment generally, which we hope ultimately will spread not just from food waste, but to other forms of waste as well. So it's very much part of the Feeding Our Future project, but in a particular way, giving us a very unusual way of advertising this ongoing campaign. Thank you. So Sharon, back to you.
Thank you. Next slide, please, Emma. So this was the start. This was us brainstorming and saying, okay, so we know we need the app. We absolutely know we need this app to be able to help for zero food waste. And we know we need to connect with organisations that are already out there. So obviously already the Random Cafe are involved, and they have been amazing and fantastic. We've already got the physical food banks that are out there. We'd like Compost Corner, but obviously that's already happening. So there's some amazing things that are happening, but we need to be able to make sure that this all happens and it's done in a sensible way that we can make sure it's manageable. The other thing we can do is put TerraCycle centres all over Watford, which are all the things that cannot be recycled. TerraCycle actually then takes things on board and is able to recycle them in other ways. So there's lots and lots of things and lots of ideas, and these are just some of them, some of the things that we could do. Next slide, please, Emma. And just some examples of things that are happening all around the world. Well, I absolutely love that Watford Borough Council are turning 50% of their food into electricity. That is absolutely amazing. That's what keeps us all going. South Africa, Cape Town, transform food waste into fuel. And I know there's an organisation called Pure Fuels that's just in Enfield, and they do exactly the same. And they turn, obviously, McDonald's fats and things into fuel as well. In Italy, revised law on sell-by food donations. In France, unsold foods must be donated. South Korea, wasted food incurs fines. In Dubai, heavy investment in artificial intelligence to track food and use and disposal. And in Denmark, consumer education focus and promotion on wonky vegetables. These are all things, and these are ideas that perhaps we can adopt. Next slide, please, Emma. So what can Watford do? So physically, how would we encourage every single household to ensure that they use their brown bins properly, efficiently, enthusiastically? Virtually, how can we encourage neighbourhoods, businesses and charities to understand the opportunities of being better connected to an efficient food waste system? We really want that engagement, as Ian says. Personally, how do we insensitise and recognise real effort and achievement at a micro level? Competitions, rewards, information. We want this to be fun. We want this to be exciting. What we don't want to be doing is telling people what they should be doing. We want them to voluntarily engage. Emma, next slide, please. So why do we need you? Well, we haven't got all the answers. These are just some of our ideas. We need your ideas, energy and support to eliminate food waste from Watford food chain. We need your expertise to be able to help build a Watford where food is celebrated and not just treated as a vital resource, not a commodity to be wasted. Next slide, please, Emma. So I think I've talked enough, and especially as I haven't got my teeth in today and seem to not be able to speak at certain times. So I think what we'd like to do is put you into a breakout rooms now. It's the tables. There's a table with myself, Ian, Chris, and Saffron. So if we could all go to one of those tables, please, and we will all be taking a couple of questions. So the first two questions, Chris, that's your table. So initially, the first two questions are about the app and how can we measure some of the great work that is happening between organisations. So if anybody would like to go to that table, please do. Don't go just yet, because I need to finish what we're doing here. The second questions are, should the Earthshot and Feeding Our Future movement become a networking group in its own right? I think we've got such a phenomenal group here. It's a shame to waste that energy and talent and expertise. So who should we have a networking group in its own right, and who else can we involve? And what ideas do you have on how to engage Watford's community on food waste? And then the last two questions are, what legal status should Feeding Our Future take, and who should own this? Currently, we're just 3 organisations that are currently voluntary pulling this together. So we'd love your ideas on whether there should be a legal status for this actual group. And if unsuccessful with our Earthshot prize, how do we resource this project? Where should we get the funding from, and how do we ensure financial sustainability? Right, so thank you so much, everybody. I hope you found this quite informative. But if we've saved 470 tonnes a week of waste food from Watford alone, then that would be 24,400 tonnes per year, which would be just amazing. But one of the key things that came out of our group, which was really interesting, is that we also need to be focusing not just on the households, but also the businesses as well. So that's a great takeaway for us. So lastly, we would like to ask you, and obviously we know your time is precious, so if you could please email Emma, and it's on the WhatsApp group as well. Can you please let us know what you or your organisation can do to support this project? We'd be really grateful on that. No matter how large or how small, we'd really like to know how you can actually support us. And the one thing that came out of our group as well, I noticed, is how much is already going on in Watford. And I think we need to be highlighting on this app as well all the fantastic projects that are out there. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel, we're just trying to bring it all together. And there are already some great groups doing some great things. So let's try and bring everyone together. So that's it from me at the moment. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Ian?
No,
Chris?
that everything that we're doing now is, Feeding Our Future. It's all about what we do now. It won't necessarily affect us tremendously, but the generations upon generations to come. And I think that for me is the excitement, and also the fact that it is a single town, 100,000 people in 8 square miles. We can really do this thing if we pull together. And I think it's been proven to me that we can today. It's been a marvellous experience. So thank you everybody for coming. Over back to you, Sharon.
Yeah, no, brilliant, Sharon. For me, just thank everybody for the interest. We've got a few people in our team at the Chamber that are passionate about this, and so we've got some resource to help drive this. Am I still here?
Yes, you are.
That's arguable. So, or arguable whether I ever was here, to be honest, but there you go. One of the things in our table, obviously, we were dealing with the tech side of it, and we think that Oya are a fantastic partner, and there's a definite win-win for everybody there. But one of the big things that's come out is that we do need some storage. We do need warehouse space. The idea is that we get one delivery, but reality is, if we get 20 tons of food, we're going to distribute it amongst a lot of different people. So if anyone has got any contacts out there or knows of any distribution space, or has got space they'd like to donate to this project, I don't know whether the council's got any space or whatever. When I had my company Freedom, we had the first floor mezzanine of our warehouse, and that was given to Small Acts of Kindness for 4 years, and it worked perfectly for them. So someone must know someone who's got some space. So please let us know. That'll be a good start to doing this. And I know that we're trying to home Severday as well, and that would be a great location for both if we can get it. So please put the feeders out for that. Thank you very much. I'm going to the pub in a minute.
Excellent.
That sounds like a very good idea.
I'm going to recycle some apples.
Before everybody does that, certainly I've taken notes, copious notes from my marvellous group myself. I'm sure Sharon has. I know Sharon has. Bit dubious about this, but I'm sure Sharon has. So I thought, Sharon, maybe we could collaborate on a document.
Yeah, and we'll distribute it to everybody.
We've got lots of comments in the general chat, I think, that I've seen little bits of here and there of. Can we keep those?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we keep all those together and really create something fairly swiftly as a result of what we've achieved this afternoon.
Yep, we will definitely follow up with everybody following on from this conversation. And I know that we tend to let you know by WhatsApp. If you haven't let Emma know your email, please let her know your email, because then obviously it could be in a more formal document. We could put more information in there and put you on a mailing list, which would be fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. As I say, I think we've still got a lot of learning to do as well, because there's so many great things and great ideas that have come out from today. And we will take all of these fantastic ideas and hopefully put something into practice. We will keep you updated as well about the Earthshot Prize. I think you'll hear all of us shouting from the rooftops. I think definitely Chris will be recycling a few more apples if we do get any further. But thank you very much, everybody, for your time. So that's it from me. Thank you.